I've been fortunate enough to come to be familiar with now. That is the relationship between the founding of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, that we're celebrating ostensibly today, in the midst of all of the major threats that are posed to it by this administration and the national security state that has basically arisen since World War II. That I was fortunate enough to grow up way up in northern New York, way up in the Adirondack Mountains, some almost 300 miles north of New York City, about 90 miles north of the St. Lawrence River. I spent my entire childhood there up until I was 18 years old, when I ended up going down to Boston to go to college and law school and divinity school down there. And I knew that there was this whole area up just north of us, north of Lake George, between Lake George and the Canadian border, where there were native people there. And it turns out that that entire territory up there, there's the Adirondack Forest Preserve, there's the Syracuse University Forest Preserve, but the fact of the matter is, if you take out a map of New York State and you look at it, and you can all take a look at that when you go back home tonight, if you take a look at the map of New York State and that whole section up in there, you'll notice that there's no cities and no named towns. They have rivers and they have mountains that are named up through there, but there's no towns. There's no white people up there. As it turns out, that is the land of the 5 Indian nations, now more lately called 6 Indian nations. But this is the territory of the Great White Roots of Peace. This is where the indigenous tribes of that area, the Onondaga, the Mohawk, the Seneca, the Cayuga, the others that all lived up there, they 1,000 years ago, decided that it was a bad idea for them to fight with each other up in that territory. And they came together and they formed a treaty that is called the Ahwasassani, and it is the Great White Roots of Peace. And they agreed that whenever there was any type of a dispute between or among any of those tribes, what they would do is have the medicine people, who are usually, for example, in the Mohawk tribe, they're the young men of the Wolf clan, and from amongst them, the women of the Turtle clan will select a medicine person periodically. And those people would come together from each of the original 5 tribes, and they would have a sweat together. What they would do, I was just talking about it a little bit earlier, because I ended up being fortunate enough to be in one of those sweats. I thought it was going to be like a little hot tub or a little sauna or something like that. But an event had taken place back there in 1975. I was the legal counsel for the Native American rights for ACLU National, because I'd been called in to help represent the American Indian movement back during the occupation at Wounded Knee back in 1973. And an incident arose up in northern New York, where I happened to have grown up, in 1975, when the state of New York decided that they were going to sell a portion of the area up there for timber. It turns out it was part of the 5 Indian nations. And the New York people didn't even pay any attention to it. And so when the Finch and Prine Lumber Company started bringing big 18-wheelers, bringing in big bulldozers to knock down the trees, the young men from the Mohawk tribe, parked their pickup trucks across Route 9 and laid out across the hood with their hunting rifles and stayed them off. And a big showdown came, and the New York State Highway Patrol, or the troopers, were called in, and they set up a siege there, and they were afraid that another Wounded Knee occupation was going to take place. So they called in me from ACLU to come in to negotiate this. So I went in, and I talked with the native people there, and they were wondering whether they should file a lawsuit in federal court to stop this from happening. And I told them, don't trust white people. Don't trust white people. I don't advise going to their courts. They're not a just system of law, and they don't care about your rights or anything. Bottom line is, they decided that what they wanted to do is to have a sweat to determine what they would do about this. And as I said, Tom Cook, who was the son of the blood chief of the Mohawks, said, would you like to do a sweat with the medicine people? That's when I said, oh, yeah, hot tub, sauna, this will be cool. It was the most excruciating pain I'd ever suffered in my life. As I mentioned to the guys, it was the first time that I'd actually prayed since I was a sophomore in college. When you kind of learn about the religions and how this is mythological and it can't all really be true, and so you kind of throw it overboard, right? Well, when you're dying, you remember this. I have my face pressed deep into the grass beneath the snow there, trying to find oxygen, and was praying. And it turns out that my prayers were answered and I didn't die. And we stayed in the sweat until 2 of the 5 of the Native American medicine men passed out from the heat. And when the second one passed out, they stopped and opened up the flap. And we had gone all the way from 4 o'clock in the morning when we went in, all day long, all the way deep into the night, with one red hot stone after another, until the two of the 5 had passed out. And when the second one passed out, they stopped. We came up out of the sweat. I remember falling down into the snow, and it was like 4.5 feet deep. I remember I was lobster red hot. And just sunk all the way down through the snow. And I remember looking up and seeing the silhouette of my body in the shape of the snow filled with stars. And the first of the medicine men that had passed out started to chant and to sing his song of the vision that he had experienced when he was passed out. And he completed that, and there was a slight pause, and then the second medicine man who had passed out started singing his song, relating what it is that his vision had. And then there was this delay, and then the Mohawk medicine man wove the 2 stories together and sang a third song, and decided that they were going to actually file the lawsuit against the state of New York in the federal court. And they called to the stand an ancient shaman from the tribe, and a blind man, and he read from the beaded bag, a deerskin beaded bag that laid out the boundaries of all of their territory that had been put together after a meeting with Benjamin Franklin and Alexander Hamilton that had taken place before the French and Indian War. And an agreement had been reached that if they would stay out of the French and Indian War, that the new government that was going to be formed there in their revolt against England would always recognize that entire territory as being sovereign. And it is to this day, all up in northern New York. It's never been part of the United States of America. It's not a Indian Reorganization Act of 1932 recognized tribe that has an official government relationship. They don't even recognize the American government, that they just live there and have lived there throughout the entire time, and have never fought with each other, have never fought with the United States. And it is from the 5 Indian Nation Indian Confederacy that the Articles of Confederation were actually formulated. After the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, they created the Articles of Confederation that were in effect from 1776 to 1783. Okay, that was, then they set up the Continental Congress, and they were in session until 1789, when they had the meeting to set up the Constitution. And what people don't understand is that the people that were involved in drafting not only the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution of the United States, that of these people, 52 of the people that were originally the federal judges, the United States senators in the House of Representatives of the original United States government were all trained at the College of New Jersey by a man by the name of John, what was his name? I forgot his name again here. Witherspoon. Yeah. John Witherspoon was the professor of moral theology at New Jersey College, which later became Princeton. And he taught all about natural law. Natural law is the same insight that the indigenous people have, that there are laws that function in nature that give rise to organic life on our planet and establish the balance in nature of the proper survival of all of the different species and how people can get along together. And the natural law was taught to Aaron Burr and to James Madison, who helped craft the United States Constitution. Now, I have maintained this since the very beginning when I was at Harvard Law School to dig in to find out about the natural law that undergirds all of this. And it's something that we're going to be coming to renewed understanding of. I don't want to just change the subject dramatically, but when in fact the United States government fully acknowledges the information they have about the UFO reality and the extraterrestrial people that are coming to our planet now, because they are displaying some of the qualities of the avatars, of the Aboriginal shaman that have telepathic communication capability, levitation capacities, the ability to astral travel. These are kind of things, these are qualities that our human family has that the indigenous know about. And so at this particular time when we're a whole bunch of white people basically celebrating the 4th of July and the creation of our government here, it's time to remember that Turtle Island has been inhabited for 10,000 years. 10,000 years before any of the Europeans came here. And that we need to remember that today. While everybody else is celebrating the founding of this country, we need to celebrate the continued existence of the Native people and the information that they have available for us. And we're going to find that it is the same natural law information that is going to be conveyed to us by the new extraterrestrial civilization that we're now coming to recognize is all around us. So I just wanted to share that with you today so that we can all be in the proper frame of mind and celebrate all of our being here together with all of the indigenous people while all the Europeans celebrate the establishment of the Constitution and the Declaration. That's it. Great. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.